Hello and welcome. My name is Mary Van Dyke. I am the owner of Finding Grandpa. This series is called Building the Bridge Back to Ireland, using various websites to find documents that might show where in Ireland your ancestors are from and where to look once you get across the pond. This is part 8 in 9 parts of the series. It's the first half of websites that might have Irish records on your ancestors. Before we begin, all the websites listed here are examples only, and they do not represent the full range of options at your fingertips on the internet. These are websites that I use often, and I flip-flop back and forth between them all because they all have different databases. Be aware that some of the websites I mention are free, might change in the future, and have fees attached. I use various surnames in the examples of the slideshow series, and I don't want you to be confused if you're looking at one image showing a record with a McDonald name, and the very next slide might have an image of a record with a Kelly or a Riley name. The internet websites I'm talking about in this first half is Ireland Reaching Out, Family Search, Ancestry, Prony.gov, Find My Past, Roots Ireland, and the National Archives of Ireland. Ireland Reaching Out's website actually is currently under construction, so I'm not going to show you too much around this website right now because it'll all probably change in the next few weeks or a few months. We're hoping by the end of the year that it gets revised and up and running. But Ireland Reaching Out is an all-volunteer organization that is trying to help people get back home. Descendants of Irish immigrants, the diaspora of Ireland. It's, again, all volunteer. It is a nonprofit organization. There are international volunteers that try to use the internet to help people find information on certain parishes, and they might have information on certain surnames. So I am a volunteer, but I live in the United States, in New Mexico, but I have records that can access the Loughrea, Gort, and Portumna areas, so I will try to step up and help anybody who's looking in those areas. And again, the whole goal of Ireland Reaching Out is helping you find your home of your ancestors. What they can do online is search all the internet's websites like I'm showing you in the part 8 and part 9 of this series, but on the ground. These are your man-on-the-ground volunteers, people who actually live in Ireland, who volunteer for specific parishes, can go around and search local churches for records that are not online yet. They can walk the cemeteries in the area, looking for your ancestors' surnames, family names. They might even be able to speak to relatives, people with the same surname that are still living in the area, to find out how you might be related and possibly make a reunion with you. Now, if you go to Ireland, the volunteers who live there can meet you. They'll show you around the area. They'll take you to the churches where your ancestors might have gone to service. They'll take you to the graveyards in the area that might have information on your family. They might even show you the land where people lived. And they might be able to introduce you to living relatives. Now, the website is basically set up all about message boards and leaving posts. It's all about communicating on the website with message boards. We ask for help, and someone is going to try to help and respond to your questions. If you only know a county and you don't know what parish to search for, you could go to the parish page for the county. Now you click the button in the upper left corner. Right now it's Find My Parish. It'll take you to this web page, and you could type in County Longford, for example, and leave a message like, I don't know if my ancestors Rileys were from any townland. I only know that he's from County Longford, and he arrived in America in 1894, and I'm looking for any information. Here is his birth date and year of immigration, and his wife and the children, and possible cousin or brother named Peter. I'm using the Hugh O'Reilly as example that I discussed in American Records Part 3. So if you don't know a parish name or a townland name and you only know the county, that's what you would go to the county link and leave a message for someone. Maybe someone can find information on your family and direct you to the correct parish. If you do know the townland's name, but you don't know the parish name, for example, we know that Hugh O'Reilly was from Auganoran, the townland in Longford, as I described in Part 7 in Griffith's Valuation, but I don't know what parish his name, Auganoran, is in. I can click the parishes button, and it will give me a list alphabetically of all the parishes loaded. And since I don't see Auganoran on the list, I'm going to go back to the County of Longford's page and give them all of the information, and hopefully somebody can say, okay, Auganoran is in the Columkill parish. This is where you need to go. Basically, you're asking for help. Where do I go? What information can be told to me? And someone is going to try to help you somehow, direct you to the right parish. The parishes themselves are at the lowest level on the ladder that you want to try to connect with. So once we know a parish, you're going to click on that button and leave a message. My family, the Hugh O'Reilly family, was from Auganoran Parish. Again, you're going to give them all the information you can that you've already gathered using the websites that we have discussed or will be discussing in these 2 parts of the series, and give them everything you have on the full family, not just your direct line, and allow a volunteer to try to pick up the ball and run with it. You don't necessarily want the volunteers to have to start from scratch. Searching. They're going to be searching the same websites that we'll be searching, as well as going to the churches and looking for information. So since you don't want them to duplicate work you've already done, you want to give them everything you've got on the whole family, and maybe somebody can extend that another step and say, I've got the family, I know the land where they were living on, and you've got a 4th cousin still living here that would love to connect with you. Here's his email address. Or if you go to Ireland, they will try to connect you with these living relatives. So the whole goal about Ireland reaching out when we're using the website is to use message boards. And the whole goal you want to try to do, that would be your ultimate goal, would be to find the correct parish so that they can help you find the correct townland where your ancestors lived. FamilySearch.org has extensive records online, and when I click the search button, I don't suggest that you type in your information on the left side and click the blue search button, because that will only search the databases that have been transcribed on this website. And FamilySearch.org has many more records that they have uploaded the images for but have not yet been transcribed. It's an ongoing process and it changes constantly. They will upload digital images but not have them transcribed yet. And while we're waiting for the transcriptions to be done, we can actually access those records as if we are looking at microfilm at a local library. So the first thing I suggest you do is go to the map on the upper right area, hover over Great Britain, and when you click on that, it will give you a box that will appear, and on the left side show you the different areas in Great Britain that they have collections for. Once I click Ireland, then on the right half of the box, the information about collections for Ireland only appear, and I can click the Start Searching in Ireland link. It brings me to this page. Now currently, down the left side, under the Records tab, you'll notice all these collections have numbers. That tells me that all of these collections currently have been transcribed. But maybe tomorrow or in a few weeks or in a few months, they might add more collections that are not yet transcribed. So I recommend everyone to go to the location first to see if there's any browse images items that are on the website, because you have to manually search those. And if it doesn't have any browse images, for example, what we're viewing right now, I'm going to do a faster search. I'm going to click the Records tab in the upper left side, bringing me back to the main page again. And this time, I'm going to ask it to search for all Peter Sweeneys who died in 1896, but I'm going to restrict my records to a location of Ireland. And the search results won't show me American census records or Australian ship records. It only shows me records specific from Ireland. Now, I only have a little over 1,000 search results. I do know that the Peter Sweeney I'm looking for died in Loughrea in 1896, and I want to look for more details on that. So I'm going to select this particular Peter Sweeney. It brings me to this page. Now, it's the Ireland Civil Registration Indexes. There is a Peter Sweeney who died in the first quarter, or his death was recorded in the first quarter of 1896, which brings up another point I forgot to mention earlier. That first quarter simply means that he might have died in November or December of 1895, but it wasn't reported until the first quarter of 1896. So be aware that it's not just January, February, and March deaths. It's when they were recorded and reported to the civil registration offices. Now I notice on the right side there is no image at the website currently, so I'm going to try to order the film. In the lower left, it gives me a film number, and I make a note of that. Then I click the catalog tab in the upper left. It will take me to the catalog information of all the collections that are at the library in Utah, not online or not at my local Family History Center. It's basically the catalog in Utah. I'm going to tell it to search for a film/fish number, and I'm going to type in the number. When I get the search results, this is a description of the death records of Ireland with indexes of deaths. It tells me that it's on, it is a manuscript, but it's also on film. So it's microfilmed images. It might tell me it's a CD or a book or microfiche. But once I click that, then I'm going to scroll down until I find the index of deaths, 1896 and 1897, that have the corresponding film number. On the far right, when I click the number, it brings me to the order page. I need to sign in. Now, Family Search wants you to register your account, sometimes to view the images, but definitely to order the film. And for $7.50, which is the current rate for my area, I can order this film, and it'll be in a couple of weeks at the local library, and I can select maybe the Genealogy Library of Albuquerque versus one of the churches that have a family history center at the LDS churches in town. So I can select where it needs to arrive. But I can watch it for 3 months at that library. I can't take it home, but I can use their facilities. If I need more time to view the film, I simply pay another $7.50 and extend the time another 3 months. If I click the Wiki tab in the upper left side and ask for information from FamilySearch.org, what do you have on Church of Ireland information? It will bring me to a page all about Church of Ireland records. If they know any information about it, they're going to give it to you. So, for example, if I wanted to find out about what's available in Montana, I could type in Montana, and it will give me search results about what records are available and or what counties are available. It might give me links to the counties or links to state records offices. It might give me an address at county levels of where I can go to order birth or death or marriage records. It might tell me what censuses are available for the area and give me a much more detailed of what Family Search knows about a location as well as about a subject. What can you find and where can you find it? Ancestry.com, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this particular website. I'm going to assume that a lot of people have already tried to manipulate around it and know their way pretty good. If you do have difficulty trying to find information on Ancestry, please feel free to email me and I'll try to walk you through it. Now, if you click the search tab in the upper left corner of the screen, you can either search all records or you can restrict your search to a specific category. Then you type the information in the left side and click search. Click the search button. Or you can scroll to the bottom of this screen and pick a location. Now I'm specifically going to click the UK and Ireland tab, which will take me to this page. I have the option to either click on the map for Ireland or select the name from the list at the bottom. When I click Ireland, this is what displays, and it tells me down the left side the collections that Ancestry has uploaded specific to Ireland and the other areas. And I can either click one of those collection names and search it itself, or I can narrow my search results to a specific county. In the red box I have highlighted under narrow by region. Say, for example, Donegal has 2 collections that are specific to Donegal. Roscommon has 1 collection. Maybe it's the history of Roscommon. Maybe it's all the descendants of John Paul Sweeney from Roscommon, and it's a collection that's specific to Roscommon. Prony.gov.uk is a beautiful website that gives quite extensive bits of information on how to research records and genealogy files in the whole of Ireland. It is the Public Records Office of Northern Ireland, but its information on how to do genealogy in Ireland is island-wide. So I highly recommend that you maneuver around this website, click buttons left and right. It's very informative, and they have many PDF how-tos on the website. Now, the first one I clicked, I'm going to show you a couple of different options. On the left side, under the list on the left, I clicked Family History and found in the center I have highlighted a series of leaflets that are in PDF format called Your Family Tree Series. It is multiple pieces of information sorted by category on specific topics on how to find records in Ireland. Beautiful leaflets. I strongly recommend you review them. Another item that I selected on the left is Search the Archives. And when I clicked it, this is the page that showed, and it says, what can I access online? And because I live in New Mexico in America, I have to use the internet. I can't just go over there and use their collection in their buildings. So I want to see what do they have online. When I scrolled to the bottom, I noticed a nice link called Online Guides and Indexes. And when I clicked the link, it took me to this page. And I found a guide to church records, PDF format. I can download it to my computer if I want, but it describes different churches and where their records are online and or in collections, how you can search it. Gives you histories, brief histories, and information about searching those particular churches. And I found this particularly interesting because my ancestors are Catholic, and I know how to get to the Catholic Church registers, but I know nothing about Church of Ireland, and some of my relatives are Church of Ireland. And I need to know how to access that information. Where am I going to find records? How am I going to get to that data? And this particular link describes how to do just that. So I really encourage you to poke around the Prony website. They have great links and great informative leaflets that they have put online for us. FindMyPast.com is a paid subscription website, but you can search their database for free. But to view the search results, you would need to pay for that. I'm going to ask for it to search all records. For John Sweeney, I'm looking for a marriage, so I have to click the other option, in 1859 in Ireland. This is the search results. Notice in the center, in green, it says there are 273 search results within a few years of the date of 1859. So I'm going to narrow my results by saying, just show me the category of birth, marriages, and deaths. Then I end up with only 4 search results. But I'm looking for 1859. I'm not looking for a 4-year or 2-year range, either way. And since 1859 isn't listed in this database, I'm going to try another website. Again, I flip-flop back and forth between multiple sites because they all have different databases. I'm going to try the same search at Roots Ireland. I'm going to select Show Me Everything You've Got for John Sweeney in the year of 1859. And when I click Search, it gives me a plus or minus 5-year range of 1859, and there are over 700, or roughly 700, search results. Since I'm looking for a marriage, I'm going to click the marriage records. And you'll notice that on the marriage records tab, there are 75 different number of records for any John Sweeneys in the whole of Ireland for that year, plus or minus 5 years. When I click Marriage Records of Ireland, it says that there are 4 matches because I reduced the search result. I beg your pardon, I need to reword this. When I select the marriage records, the 75 names or index totals show for me. But I can reduce my search result either by the years, which is shown immediately above the red box, or I can select a county or multiple counties, because I might not know if he married in Galway or Mayo, and it will reduce my search results. I selected Galway. I left the year range plus or minus 5 alone, and the search results are 4 items. Now I can see the index for free. So when I click that first page free, this is what I see. There are 4 names of John Sweeneys in the collection of church marriages, not civil registrations, in 1859. Notice the date range. It is a plus or minus 5. However, it's going to cost me 25 credits. I need to purchase credits from this website in order to view them. But I don't know which John I want. They all got married in Galway. I can't see their spouses, and this is the biggest issue I have with this type of website that makes me pay to see the search results and doesn't give me enough information in the index. I want to see John's marriage location, or better yet, his spouse, or his father's name, or even his occupation. Ultimately, I'd like to see the spouse, because I want to know which one am I purchasing. There's only 4 here, and I'm not yet know what 25 credits is going to cost me. But what if I order the first one, and it's not my guy? Excuse me. What if there were 50 search results? They all said 1859. Am I going to have to pay 50 times? This is the issue I have with this website. It doesn't give me enough information before I have to pay to see the result. However, if I knew that the spouse of one of these men was Mary McCullough, I would immediately pay for it without blinking, because that's my spouse. I'm looking for that record, and I wouldn't blink about ordering it. Right now, I'm hesitating. So they could increase their profit and or even just covering their overhead expenses for creating this website by simply giving us a little bit more information at the front end and people wouldn't hesitate to buy these search result images. Again, this website, though, is all transcribed. I'm not going to see the original document. I'm only going to see the transcribed index. Now, I'm going to take a shot, and I'm going to order, for 25 credits, the John Sweeney from 1859. Currently, in October of 2014, 25 credits cost €5, and that's roughly on the market now about 6.5, 7 American dollars. I can do that. I'll spend $7 to take a shot one time. I won't do it multiple times, but I'll take a shot because he was the only search result for that specific year, and that's the only reason I'm going to do it. Once I actually log in and pay for my 25 credits, this is the search result. Notice it's a transcription. It's not the original document. If I want the original document, I'm going to have to order that through the GRO or order film online and have that come in and look through the microfilms for that particular marriage record. Now, I know my John Sweeney, the man I'm looking for, did marry in 1859, and his wife was Mary McCullough, spelled differently than what's in this particular transcription. But I know my John was a carpenter. He lived in the Woodlawn area with his family and raised his kids there. And I suspect his father was a John, and therefore I'm saying with pretty good surety that this is the right record I want, and I got lucky. Again, if this was maybe a Susan McDonald wife, I would say that's not him, and I just wasted $7, not even having correct information. So if these websites would actually revise their search results just a little bit, I'm not saying give it all to us up front without paying. I would certainly, without blinking, be willing to help pay for the cost of keeping this website alive. If I knew more information, I wouldn't be blinking when I ordered these records. But just seeing a name and a date and a county, that's not enough information for us who are trying to research our ancestors to make the determination of which record to purchase. What if we didn't know he got married in 1859 and there were 50 search results? We'd have to spend that money 50 different times. It's very frustrating for me, and I apologize for my rant on the subject. Genealogy.nationalarchives.ie is the section of the National Archives website that has information about genealogy in Ireland and what we can find online. In the lower left, they have databases that you can search, and hopefully this will be growing. I'm sure that's their goal as they contract with different digitizing companies to get this information uploaded and searchable. I'm going to show you census records currently, and I'm going to click the census tab at the upper left, or I have the option in the lower left to click Census of Ireland 1901, 1911, and the remnants that are survived. It brings me to this page. It describes all about the censuses of Ireland and what's available and the issues that they've had with the various censuses. If I click Search Census tab, or if I go down in the bottom, in the base of the page, and click Search the Census Records, either way, they're going to link me to this page. And the drop-down arrows for next to the census year will show me what years are available. And I'm asking it to show me any Patrick Cannons who lived in Galway in 1901 census. And initially my first thought was there's going to be 100 or 500 names of Patrick Cannons, because I'm not restricting it to a location and I'm not restricting it to an age. But there was only 10 males named Patrick Cannon living in 1901 in County Galway. I thought, okay, I could do this. I could search these records. Now, I noticed the man I'm looking for is the father of my great-grandfather. And my great-grandfather was born in 1869. So in the 1901 census, I'm looking for somebody who's older than 50. So there's roughly 5 guys here, older than 50. But only one of them, the last one, is living in a townland that's right next to where my great-grandfather was born in Athenry. I Google mapped Athenry. I wanted to find the areas around it. I need to understand when I use Google that I need to understand the whole area, because maybe Athenry isn't listed in this search, but one of the townlands around it might be. And sure enough, Capanan is immediately next to Athenry. So I click on that last Patrick Cannon, right age, right location. And it will display the transcription of the 1901 census. In the lower left, under View Census Images, I can click the blue link and it will take me to the original image of the census. I know that my Patrick was a herd. He was the herd for Lord Dunsandle for many years, starting since my great-grandfather was born, and actually I even found their marriage record, and Patrick is a herd even in 1868, and this is 1901, and this man is the herd. So I know this is probably my guy. I don't know yet where in Capanan he was living, what piece of property, but I also don't know his spouse, since he's a widower. I don't know if his spouse was indeed Anne Connolly, but this is the only census record I have him in. I lose him in 1911, so he passed away shortly after this record was noted. But I do have all the children, so I can actually do cluster genealogy, as described in part 2 of the series, and hunt for information on the rest of these children. Now, please join us in the next half of the series of websites with Ireland records. I'm going to talk about Irish genealogy from Ireland, family history, the grave sites and cemetery record databases on Find a Grave and Irish graveyards, newspapers at Irish News Archive, as well as Irish Times, the National Library of Ireland, and certain chat rooms and tourist sites at Roots Chat, Ireland Roots, and Discover Ireland. So please join us for Part 9, the last of our series, and the last half of Websites with Irish Records. Thank you for watching.